More details are emerging about Kirk's suspected killer, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. Video obtained by TMZ appears to show him the morning of the shooting, walking to Utah Valley University, dressed in lighter clothes than those police say the shooter wore that day. Utah's governor says Robinson is refusing to cooperate with investigators.
He has not confessed to authorities. He is not cooperating. But all the people around him are cooperating.
Sources say Robinson surrendered after his father recognized him in these surveillance images and urged him to come forward. Utah's governor says Robinson's family told investigators that he was deeply indoctrinated with leftist ideology. Authorities say when they recovered the shooter's shell casings, they contained messages. One read, "Hey fascists, catch." Another referenced an Italian anti-fascist folk song. And another unfired casing contained the message, "If you read this, you are gay. LMAO." Investigators also confirming they've now interviewed Robinson's roommate, with whom they say he was romantically involved.
His roommate was indeed a boyfriend who is transitioning from male to female. That's information that the FBI had mentioned yesterday. We can confirm that as well, and that he is cooperating with authorities as well.
Officials say Robinson had no military experience, but was proficient with a firearm. Multiple social media posts by his family show him posing with guns.
About 175 yards from the podium to the shooting location.
175 yards. And would you have to be a pretty proficient marksman to be able to make it, given those conditions?
Given the environment, that type of shot is not easy.
President Trump continues to blame only the left for political violence, not referencing the Democrats targeted in recent months. Trump last night saying his administration is now investigating left-leaning groups.
The problem is on the left. It's not on the right, like some people like to say on the right. The problem we have is on the left.
But other Republicans are striking a different tone.
You need to take the word radical and remove right or left. And radical coming from any direction is not good.
And Kirk's funeral is set for next Sunday at the Arizona Cardinals Stadium outside Phoenix, which can hold more than 70,000 people. President Trump says he will attend and award Kirk the Medal of Freedom.
He has not confessed to authorities. He is not cooperating. But all the people around him are cooperating. We can confirm that his roommate was indeed a boyfriend who is transitioning from male to female, and that he is cooperating with authorities.
A Fox News alert: Charlie Kirk's murder suspect refusing to cooperate as the FBI discovers new details about his dark digital footprint before he makes his first court appearance tomorrow.
All right, FBI Director Kash Patel joins us now. I can't imagine, Mr. Director, how busy you've been, especially Charlie Kirk isn't just a impactful person, he's your friend. So I understand that. But having said that, people are looking to you to find out how big this investigation is going to be. Can you tell us the latest?
Absolutely. It's so good to be with you. And you're right. My personal feelings and relationship with Charlie, I have a job to do for the American people, and I'm committed to do it for President Trump. We flexed all resources the FBI had and surged multiple air assets as soon as this shooting occurred. We were cycling in agents, evidence response technicians, hostage rescue technicians, and special operators in and out of Utah, cycling evidence back and forth on these FBI planes as soon as we could so that there was no delay. And what we did,
worst guy for the job. Worst guy for the job. I mean, seriously. Worst guy for any job, really. The fact that, like, the administration won't even fire him kind of shows that they don't give a fuck, right? Like, the fact that they have not fired him at this stage, even after he just kept saying wrong shit over and over again in this incredibly high-profile investigation, made the FBI look like a clown show, means that, one, obviously, something that we knew already, loyalty above all else. That's the only thing that Trump cares about. And two, they must not care that much about Charlie Kirk, the person, right? Because what he's saying here, what he's about to say here, if I don't know if I missed it or not, the information revealed here is so insane that it makes me also reconsider whether or not this was like an op or something.
Once I got there, along with the deputy on the ground around 5 p.m. local on September 11th, was walk the entire crime scene, including the foots the suspect himself took. And what we learned was there was evidence, DNA evidence that could be collected and had been collected, including a screwdriver that was found on the rooftop. Also, we went over to the scene in the wooded area where the firearm was discarded, and the firearm had a towel wrapped around it. It's important. I'll get back to that later. I even walked into the wooded area in the ravine, so I knew from my investigative experience what I could bring to the table and what decisions I needed to make. And having the support of President Trump and the full support of the White House was what we needed for these resources to happen. And I can report today that the DNA hits from the towel that was wrapped around the firearm and the DNA on the screwdriver are positively processed for the suspect in custody.
So, Mr. Director, that is vital. That is breaking news and vital information, because now you have the casings for the gun. So you connect the gun. Now you got his DNA on it. That's huge. But I also want to get to another part.
I just got to interrupt. Sorry, I just got to interrupt. We have the DNA on the screwdriver that was found on the rooftop and the towel that the firearm was wrapped in. The firearm itself, this is a great point. Thanks for raising it.
Yeah, no problem.
That is being processed by ATF laboratories in Maryland, and I believe they'll speak to that at a later date when their process is incomplete. But I just want to let you know the FBI handled the screwdriver and the towel found on the scene.
That is important clarification, Mr. Director. I want to get to the 20 members in that group chat. Have they been brought in from questioning? And the group chat that from our reporting that we're hearing is from after the assassination. Do you have the messages from before the assassination?
Well, let me take a step back and tell you what we were doing while we were there and how we were led to the suspect so that this all fits into the puzzle. We, as soon as we learned of the shooting, we were able to, I think Charlie Kirk was shot at 12:23 local time on September 10th. By 12:39 p.m. local time, FBI assets were on scene securing the scene. We then launched at 10 a.m. the next day the first images of the suspect. Myself and the deputy arrived at 5 p.m. local time on September.
I can't believe Kash Patel, one of the top cops in the FBI, is trying to fucking involve himself in this investigation because he has podcaster brain, not realizing that this level of involvement and actively trying to federalize this crime, by the way, is inevitably going to taint the prosecution. You can't fucking be like, hey, I'm the guy investigating this, and the guy who got killed is my friend, and I'm really upset right now. And also, we fucked up a bunch of the evidence. The fuck? It's so, look, this is, of course, if the criminal justice system still works, right? That's a big if. But under normal circumstances, you can't just, under normal circumstances, you can't do that. You can't just be like, hey, I love this guy. I'm super biased about the victim. I'm super biased. I'm super distraught. And also, there's a litany of different complications here with the way that we handled the evidence. And honestly, it is what it is. That's just, okay, so I guess you just strike all of the evidence that the FBI has compiled then. All the evidence that you touched is over, right? I feel like that's how it would work under normal circumstances, but I don't know.
11th. And then what we did was decided to have a press conference at 8 p.m. local where we issued for the first time FBI obtained video footage that we seized from the security camera surveillance system and new images, enhanced images. I decided to release immediately to the public because we were working with the public and the media to find this killer. Shortly after that 8 p.m. release, at 10 p.m. local time, the suspect was in custody.
You're right, and Fox is aware of it. Fox News reports that the White House have no confidence in Kash Patel. The question is whether, in Trump's mind, Patel's obedience will ultimately outweigh his total lack of qualifications for the job. Dude, he's going to fuck it up. He is fucking it up. What he's doing on this televised interview is already fucking it up. Even if you're personally biased, you're not supposed to fucking say that. You're not supposed to publicly admit to that. And I think part of the reason why they want to make this a federal trial is so that they have more control over it. You know what I mean? It feels like they have, they want to, it's They have more control over a federal trial than they do over like a local one, right? A state trial, which it is. As it stands currently, this is a state trial, okay? This is a crime that took place inside of Utah State. There is not really any, I don't think there's anything that they can do to like turn this into a federal criminal trial. But I don't know. I'm not, I'm sure there's people who understand the law a lot better than me, but like there is no federal case here. Like what's the jurisdiction, right? Because the dude is homegrown. He's from Utah. He didn't even like travel with a weapon he did not travel with a weapon from like another state or anything like that. I don't know how they could make a case here. Maybe like terrorism. Stop talking about things you don't know then. What? I mean, there are certain things I do know, and there's certain things I'm speculating on. Would you rather me not tell you that I'm speculating on certain things? Yeah. It's not like I haven't seen anything that would make this like a federal crime so far, but who knows? Who knows? Yeah, this is the yeah. The federal government cannot charge Charlie Kirk's murderer due to a legal loophole, according to Daily Mail, unless the murder took place on federal property, involved a federal official, or is classified as a hate crime based on race, religion, or other protected category, none of which apply to Kirk's killing. The case is handled by local prosecutors. The major loophole, more commonly known as this is not a federal crime. That's not a loophole, man. What the fuck?
Why? Because the father informed us, pursuant to an interview of him, that he looked at the video that we released that evening and the enhanced photos and identified the suspect. That's how fast the FBI was working to put out information in real time. And for comparative sake, the Boston bombing, the FBI didn't release images for 3 days. We know we didn't have 3 days. I made an executive decision on an investigative and operational need, and it turned out to be the right move because the men and women of the FBI said that's what we should be doing.
Yeah, we knew when that video was released.
Yeah, this is him trying to desperately be like, see, I made a good decision here. Aren't I responsible for the way that we have conducted ourselves?
We said it here on Fox and Friends. Someone's going to recognize this person because someone was friends with him, his family. Someone knows this guy. Those images were crystal clear. Mm-hmm. Tell us what you know about his background, his childhood, his father who had to turn him in.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ignore the last question. Going back to the group chats real quick, there's more than 20 individuals. But this is a great point. I want to lay out how this works. People think we can just get in these group chats and immediately find out who's in them. We, the FBI, are the investigatory body supporting multiple prosecutions and ongoing investigations. And that's another point. Our investigation at the FBI is ongoing. And there are scores of people in this Discord chat room. But we have to effectuate legal process. We have to go out there with search warrants so that if prosecutors want to later use this evidence, it's not tainted by being illegally obtained. We, the FBI, are running the investigation pointedly on the Discord chat group. There are scores of individuals that are going to be spoken to. There are also lots of family members and friends that have already been spoken to. And one more point on forensics. We were able to obtain in record time the text message chain between the suspect and his live-in partner, as well as other critical cellular information from our CAS team that analyzes cell phone data towers in the area to pinpoint the locations of the suspect and other individuals he was speaking with. This is critical information that the FBI processed and got to prosecutors so they can lawfully use it in a court of law. And our investigation, our interviews continue, but we've learned some shocking things when we spoke to his family and friends as well.
You want to share them, those shocking things?
Sure. And my job as FBI director is not to speak to motive, is to speak to the facts. And that's what I'm going to do. His family.
Yeah. So you know he's not going to do that. He is going to speak to the motive.
Has collectively told investigators that he subscribed to left-wing ideology, and even more so in these last couple of years. And he had a text message exchange, he the suspect, with another individual, in which he claimed that he had an opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and he was going to do it because of his hatred for what Charlie stood for. Those are factually accurate investigatory findings by the FBI that we've handed over to the local authorities and the federal authorities to make their prosecutorial decisions. But I believe in this instance of such public importance, the public has a right to know. And I've told you I'm committed to transparency, and that's what I'm doing here today.
Why didn't that person that he was talking to, why didn't that person say something?
This guy in the chat said leftist. Yeah, there's no way this was done by a leftist. We all celebrated it. Meanwhile, like, the people, first of all, I've not made this assertion, okay? I've not made that statement. I don't know what the ideological background of the shooter was. I feel like there is not enough evidence yet to establish that. At least evidence that they've revealed to establish that. There's also certainly not enough evidence to figure out exactly what the motive was, right? Having said that, the entirety of the right have claimed that I am responsible for this, all the way from Elon Musk down to every fucking neo-Nazi out there. The irony, of course, is that not only have I not said anything violent about Charlie Kirk, but I was also slated to be next to him at a public event. There is, however, one group of people to his right flank, neo-Nazis that self-describe as Groypers, who have actively pursued Charlie Kirk, stalked him, both on the internet and also physically in the real world. So I don't know if this guy is a Groyper or not, okay? And as a matter of fact, I've said I'm not so certain. I don't think he is. These guys still are going to yell at me regardless, okay? I'm one of the few fucking prominent media figures that instantly said there is not enough evidence to suggest that this person is a Groyper, okay? The irony, of course, is these people don't listen to my words or care at all. This guy's fucking PFP. Look at this shit. I think there is a person out there who believes that the shooter might have been a Groyper, and that person is Nick Fuentes, ironically enough. Now, of course, if we took active initiatives to go after political radicalization in this country for acts of violence, then there would be no neo-Nazi formations in this country, considering how much they are responsible for violence all the fucking time, including the school shooting that took place in Colorado that seemingly no one gives a shit about, where a white supremacist neo-Nazi shooter, just like the church shooting that took place at the Catholic Church in Minneapolis a couple weeks prior, was radicalized by esoteric, nihilistic, neo-Nazi groups on Telegram. But, you know, that obviously doesn't make people feel good, make right-wingers feel good. So we just don't really pay attention to that stuff.
You know, our investigation is ongoing. That's a great question, and we don't have an answer on that just yet.
But, Mr. Director, you're right. Your job is not to speak to ideology. But you do have the BAU, the Behavior Analysis Unit, that are there. And my sources, people that are within the Bureau and outside that used to be FBI, tell me that the BAU has been encouraged not to tackle the transgender issue from an ideology standpoint. Have you heard that? Are you tackling that? I know you've only been there recently, but you can't have a political slant saying we're not going to attack different political ideologies because it's going to offend someone.
You're absolutely right, and that's why me and the deputy have been quarterbacking this investigation ourselves. There is no one at the FBI that is going to politicize this investigation. There's no one at Quantico or anywhere else that is going to say we are not looking at X or Y. We are looking at the facts, and that is why we are releasing the facts in record fashion. If you go back and look at historical cases like Luigi Mangione and the Boston bombing, how long did it take the Bureau to release information to the public? We're not doing that. Those two manhunts took 5 days, and they happened in downtown major metropolises. We apprehended our suspect in 33 hours because we were transparent and open with the American public, and we're going to continue to do that. So anyone that thinks that the FBI is not on top of its game and that me and the deputy and everybody in leadership in our Salt Lake City field office in Quantico is doing anything politically, I'm not having it. And if you've heard anything else about it, they are lying to you. We're on it.
Yeah. When he says we're not doing anything politically, he means, like, don't worry, we are operating as political operatives in the direction that you want us to, which is why we keep drip feeding narratives about how much trans extremism played a role in this without sufficient evidence, for the record.
That's why it's so important that you came on, and we're thrilled you are. A couple other things. I have two quick questions. One, is it true what the governor said yesterday, that he had a written note that you're looking into now prior to the assassination? Did he have a note? And the other one question is, the person that was texting with him about, I have a shot at taking out Charlie Kirk, can that person be charged?
So I'll take those in reverse. The charging decisions are up to our great partners at the Department of Justice and the Attorney General, who have been wonderful providing resources during this entire process, and we'll let them speak to any charging decisions. But we, the FBI, are investigating. As I said, our investigation is ongoing. We're interviewing dozens and dozens of suspects, subjects, witnesses, and the like, and continuing to examine forensic information, including cell phone data and DNA analyses. And once we make those findings, hand it over to our partners, as we're doing in real time, they'll make those decisions. And I'm sorry, Brian, I forgot your other question.
You had a written note. Did he write a written note before the assassination attempt? That's what the governor said yesterday. And what did that say, if you could share?
So what I'm able to say, I'm sorry. So what I'm able to say is, I addressed it partially earlier, is that the written note, we believe, did exist, and we have evidence to show what was in that note, which is...
Wait, whoa. There was a written note that existed? Did? As in there was a written note, but it just mysteriously vanished? I'm sorry. What the fuck?
And I'm going to summarize, basically saying, the suspect wrote a note saying, I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. That note was written before the shooting. Evidence of its existence, we now have learned, existed before the shooting, was in the location, in the suspect and partner's home. But we have since learned that the note, even though it has been destroyed, we have found forensic evidence of...
What happened? How did the note exist and then it did not exist? Also, the governor yesterday said the FBI has the note and he can't talk about its contents. What? The note has been destroyed?
The note, and we have confirmed what that note says because of our aggressive interview posture at the FBI.
So, Mr. Director, I'm curious, and there has been some criticism. So
That's cool. That's weird. That's a weird thing. That's cool. Okay. The suspect wrote a note saying, I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and I'm going to take it. Even when they say this, by the way, there's no, even in this fucking supposed manifesto / note, there is no motive. What the fuck is going on? Patel said the note had been destroyed, but we have found forensic evidence of the note, and we have confirmed what the note says because of our aggressive interview posture at the FBI. That's pretty crazy. That's a crazy thing. The dog ate the manifesto. We went in and we knew that there was potentially a manifesto, but it seems to be mysteriously vanished now. How strange. What could it be?
Appreciate you coming on our program and discussing it with our audience. Can you tell us what was happening on the ground? Apparently, according to sources, you weren't getting some information, you requested photos, and you were being stonewalled. Now, I think it's important to note there's always some sort of tension between local cops on the ground and the feds. They want to handle their own investigation, but of course, with an investigation of this magnitude, you have to step in, you have the resources. But can you explain, was it the local field office, was it the state police? What was going on?
So the local authorities have been fantastic.
Okay.
The local sheriff, the state PD have been wonderful. And any investigation, as you hinted to, of this magnitude has so many people in it because I'd made the decision to search so many resources. And to get the information up to me was of the utmost priority. So I worked with my team to say, hey, there's not going to be any delays. We're not going to do it the way we normally do things. So the only thing that people were doing at the FBI was how they knew how to do things. I had to expedite that process. That's my job. That's what I thought this case deserved. And that's what this case was rightly calling for. So I made the tough calls. But I wasn't critical of anyone in particular. I just said, we got to move faster. And that was my call to make. And if there's any criticism system there. You can put it right
but
here.
Who wasn't giving you
the
information, Director? Who wasn't giving you the photos when you requested them quickly, and it didn't make it to you? Who denied that order?
It's not a denial of the order. Just to clarify, I'm glad we're talking about this. The photos were produced. They just weren't produced in a timely fashion that I felt was appropriate for an investigation of this magnitude. So I came in and I accelerated that process.
So in the 24 hours after, when we were still looking for the guy, I know you posted that we got him. And that ended up not being true. You took some incoming because of that. What led to you posting that? Why did you feel so certain about it? And what do you have to say about the criticism?
No, I appreciate this opportunity. Look, as I stated, I was being transparent with working with the public on our findings as I had them. I stated in that message that we had a subject and that we were going to interview him, and we did, and he was released. The job of the FBI is not just to manhunt the actual suspect who did the killing or suspects, but it's also to eliminate targets and eliminate subjects who are not involved in the process, and that's what we were doing. Could I have worded it a little better in the heat of the moment? Sure. But do I regret putting it out? Absolutely not. I was telling the world what the FBI was doing as we were doing, and I'm continuing to do that, and I challenge anyone out there to find a director that has been more transparent and more willing to work the media on high-profile cases, or any case the FBI is handling, than we have been under my leadership.
Just follow, do you think that guy was part of the plot to distract you while this guy got away? Do you think there's any connection between two of those people that stood up and acted crazy at that moment?
Well, as it's now been publicly reported, some of these people were taking claims for this horrific act of violence, and they had nothing to do with it. Others were working what we call a daisy chain analyses, and this is where the cell phone data dumps are so important. We're seeing who talked to who, not just in chat groups. We're seeing who texted who was around who. We're using our geofencing capabilities to map out exactly where individuals were, and then we're also getting into their personal cell phone information to say, were you calling so-and-so? Were you texting so-and-so? And we know the suspect was communicating with folks, but as I've said, that cell phone tower information, you got to get it the right way, with search warrants, with lawful authority, so that our prosecutors can use it in court for whatever investigations they decide to prosecute.
Cash, he's not saying a word. He's not admitting it. Is he remorseful? And what happens to him? Does he get the death penalty?
Well, I'll let the state authorities speak to their prosecution, which is ongoing. As I think your summary is correct, based on my information that I have, he has not been cooperating in terms of interrogations with our law enforcement officials.
And Mr. Director, we always appreciate it because every time there's silence, that's when the conspiracy theories pop up. Yeah. So we appreciate you coming out with us today and just telling people what you know. Appreciate it.
Mr. Director.
Thank you so much.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
So what the fuck's going on with this note, man? That's weird. My guess, the manifesto was a Word document or a digital text document or a message that was deleted, but they recovered it from the storage drive or subpoena the messaging service provider like Discord for its records. Deleting local files doesn't always clear the associated drive space. Just marks it for deletion until the space is needed at a later point. It's possible to reconstruct deleted data in this way with forensics. No, I understand, but I find it strange that like the note itself also did not have any fucking. It was just like a one note. It was a one statement note. It was like I'm gonna do it. Plus, they said it was written. I don't know. I feel like they would say it's typed if they're talking about a note such as this. Yeah, if it sounds like they found the etching of a note and they got a second person to confirm it. There's definitely a lot of weird things about this investigation.